Now, this creation then will become the human being who will be the child of God and is a child of God, being perfected by God, not by you. It all begins with God. It began in the very beginning, the first flow of energy into the void, the first light, the first particle, the first star. See, always it begins with God. And the last star, the last thing created, it began with God. Everything good must come from God. So now do you see that your efforts, your self-improvement efforts, your huffing and your puffing, your willfulness, your meddling, you're trying to save yourself, trying to make things right, your human love, which is not love. Can you now see that you must just cease and desist? Wait for the wind of the Spirit and wait for God to move you. Now, how are you going to find this intuitive way of living that will lead you to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? Well, it begins with God. All you can do is yearn for something good and pure. You can yearn to be a better person, realizing you can't make yourself better. And when you happen to see something in God's light, in this beautiful spiritual light which also fills the universe, when you see something about yourself negative, when you see that you're phony or that you're being resentful or you've been impatient with your kids, when you see such things, just see it. Don't try to change yourself. Don't resent the light. Just see it. And let God work His magic. Now you must find the light. And now back again to what I began with, meditation. You must meditate. You must use a meditation like mine. It's very simple. Very simple. And it connects you back to the inner light from God. That's all it does. Very simple. If you sit quietly in a chair, you can close your eyes. Look at the inside of your eyelids and see the little pixels of light, little particles of light, little flashes of light, little patterns of light, a warm glow of light. Just see that. Just look at it. Watch it. You're looking at spiritual light from your Creator. It fills the universe. And from that light comes the substance of the new you. You can also then become aware of your hands. You can notice your hands, especially your right hand. Put your right hand by your side, or you can put it on your lap. And just become aware of your hand. You can become aware, just become aware of your hand. You can become aware of one finger at a time. Notice your thumb with your eyes closed, and you're watching the little pixels of light on the inside of your eyelid. At the same time, be aware of your thumb. Notice your thumb. And if you notice your thumb, quietly, without any effort, just notice it begins to tingle a little bit. And notice your first finger. Pay attention to it. Be aware of it. And it will tingle. And your third finger. Soon you'll be able to feel life flowing into your hand. Notice your fourth finger. Now notice your thumb. You can continue to be aware of one finger at a time. You begin to feel life flowing into your hand. Your hand becomes flushed with life. This life comes from your Creator, from the light. When you cease and desist from your own efforts And cease and desist from playing God and trying to plan and scheme your own way. And cease and desist from fruitless worry. And cease and desist from fruitless worry. You just sit quietly in the present with your eyes closed, noticing the inside of your eyelids and seeing the little pixels of light. That light then begins to flow into your body, floods your body, floods your being. And it's like a gift. It's a gift from God, from His light to your body. It's a beautiful energy. It's from your Creator. And it's a gift. You do this little meditation in the morning for a couple of minutes or 5 minutes, at noon, and again in the evening. Once in a while during the day, you can recenter yourself by just sitting quietly for a short amount of time, doing what I just said, looking at the inside of your eyelids, being aware of your hand. Now the former life, the fallen life, the ego life, the life of pride and of emotion, the life that leads to death, the temporal life, the animal life. That life also inhabits your imagination. Your imagination is of the earth and of pride. See, the error that entered us had to do with pride. Pride entered and changed the human race. And it clings tenaciously to your mind, to your subconscious mind. And life, the pride of life, of planning and scheming and dreaming, it looms up, and it's constantly seeking to intrude into your relationship with God's light and the communion between your soul, between God's light, your soul, and your body. And so thoughts arise. And it's been your lifelong habit anyway, to escape into thought. See, you haven't been without knowing of God's light. You've known of it because of conscience. When you were a little child, you were close to it. When you did something wrong, when you were angry with your mommy, you felt your conscience. That was the inner light from God. It's a way of knowing. It's wordless. But you fell away from it when you became emotional, when people made you emotional. And then when you did some wrong things, whatever they were, then you hid from God's light. You didn't want to feel bad. You wanted to escape from it. So you hid in your imagination. And you used your imagination like a plaything, where you could imagine yourself being great, and you could imagine yourself being having romance and revenge on people, and all these things that you thought were beneficial actually were just temptations, something operating through you that was tempting you to always set aside the quiet moment, to always set aside intuition, and to escape into fantasy. So now all you must do is reverse that process, because you want to be close to God. You want to be close to the light. You don't want to be, you see what you are, it's not so good, and you just don't want to be like that anymore. But you also see that you can't change yourself. So it's like letting go and letting God. So I can't say anymore. You have to discover for yourself. I can't give it to you. I can't do it for you. You have to do it yourself. That's the beauty of the way God does things. Remember, He wanted to create love, and so there had to be some freedom. So He gives you freedom. And He hopes that you will, of a free will choice, lean toward Him, knowing that even as you lean toward Him, you see your own weakness. You see that temptation rising. You see it, but now you know that you can't change yourself. There's nothing you can do. That's another error, trying to save yourself. Now you just lean toward, you incline toward your Creator. You're inclined toward the stillness, and you yearn for it. yearn for the Creator you've never known. And the magic, God's magic, continues and begins for you in your life.